73-year-old woman asks Hell's Angels bikers for help. My husband says we must stay quiet. The neon sign above Riley's Roadhouse flickered like a dying heartbeat in the cold Montana night. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of leather, whiskey, and diesel dreams. The Iron Ghosts Motorcycle Club, men carved from steel and silence, sat around a scarred oak table, their tattoos telling stories louder than their words ever could. Then she walked in. Evelyn wasn't supposed to be there. At 73, with silver hair pulled into a trembling bun and eyes red-rimmed for decades of unshed tears, she looked like someone's grandmother, because she was. But her hands shook as she clutched a worn handbag, and the bruise blooming along her jawline told a different story. She approached the table where Stone, the club's president, sat like a mountain unmoved by time. His eyes, sharp as flint, locked onto hers. She didn't flinch. "Please," she whispered, voice cracking like dry timber. "My husband, he's done it again. He put my daughter Annie in the hospital, again. 42 years, 42 years of this." She pulled back her sleeve, revealing a constellation of old and fresh bruises. "We've gone to the police, to the church. Everyone says it's a family matter, but it's not. It's torture." Stone exchanged glances with Hawk, Ridge, and Doc, their brotherhood forged in fire, loyalty, and a code that rarely bent. Their club had one ironclad rule: never interfere in family business. But Evelyn wasn't asking for interference, she was begging for salvation. Doc, the club's medic and quietest soul, stood first. "How bad is Annie?" he asked gently. "Broken ribs, a concussion. She won't speak, just stares at the wall," Evelyn choked out. "She's 42 years old, and she still flinches when a door slams." Something shifted in the room, not just pity, but rage, cold, righteous fury. Stone stood, his boots thudding like war drums on the floorboards. "We'll take you both somewhere safe, tonight." Within the hour, the Iron Ghosts rolled through the dark, their bikes roaring like thunder announcing judgment. They collected Annie from the hospital, thin, hollow-eyed, wrapped in a blanket twice her size, and brought her and Evelyn to an old hunting cabin deep in the pines, owned by a retired member who owed them more than one life. For 3 days they guarded the women like sacred relics. Doc tended to Annie's wounds. Hawk cooked meals and never once raised his voice above a murmur. Ridge kept watch through the night, shotgun across his knees, eyes scanning the tree line for any sign of Gerald. On the 4th night, Stone, Hawk, and Ridge rode to the house on Elm Street, the same house where Evelyn had scrubbed floors and swallowed screams for half a century. Gerald answered the door in stained pajamas, reeking of bourbon and entitlement. "Who the hell?" Stone didn't let him finish. He stepped inside, the others flanking him like shadows. "You're done," Stone said, voice low but carrying the weight of a verdict. "We've got hospital records going back to 1984, Hawk added, tossing a manila folder on the coffee table. "Neighbor statements, photos, even your own voicemails threatening Annie if she told anyone again." Gerald paled. "That's private. You can't—" "You don't get to decide what's private anymore," Ridge cut in, stepping so close Gerald stumbled back. "You've got 2 choices. Leave town by sunrise, or we make sure you never walk again. Your pick." Gerald chose sunrise. By dawn, his truck was gone, headed south, destination unknown. The Iron Ghosts made sure he never came back. They contacted a network of biker allies across state lines, ensuring Gerald would find no refuge, no anonymity. His name became poison in every bar from Idaho to Texas. Meanwhile, Evelyn and Annie began to heal. With the club's help, they relocated to a women's shelter 2 states away, somewhere green and quiet, where birdsong replaced shouting. The Iron Ghosts paid for therapy, legal aid, even new IDs. They didn't do it for thanks. They did it because silence had already cost these women too much. Months later, Evelyn sent a letter to Riley's Roadhouse. Inside was a photo, her and Annie smiling on a porch swing, sunlight catching the silver in their hair. On the back, she'd written this: "You didn't just save us, you gave us back our voices. Thank you for refusing to stay quiet." The video ends with Stone reading those words aloud, his grizzled face softening for the first time. Behind him, the iron ghosts raise their beers, not in celebration, but in solemn vow. Because true brotherhood isn't just about riding together, it's about standing up when no one else will. It's about seeing pain and choosing to act. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more stories of courage, compassion, and second chances to light. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? Because hope has no borders, and neither does kindness. Thanks for watching.